Guitarists, what if I told you there is a way to play your instrument that would keep you entertained for hours on end? The people that get the best results from the guitar are the people that can spend the most time playing for Guitarists, what if I told you there was a way to play your instrument that would keep you entertained for hours on end? We know that the people that get the best results from the instrument are the people that spend the most time playing it. And we often stop playing because of either frustration or boredom from the instrument. So, what would happen to our practice hours if we could eliminate that boredom? Right, that would sound interesting, right? We could play the guitar and keep ourselves entertained for hours on end. So by the end of this video, I'm going to show you a trick that completely transformed my playing and allowed me to practice for hours and hours at a time. But just in case you don't believe me, I just want to show you what I used to sound like as an intermediate on the guitar. I don't think I was very good at all, but with enough time and dedication, I managed to advance my playing, and I developed my own unique style and sound on the instrument. I unlocked freedom on the fretboard. So I've been in your shoes before, I know how to get out of them. This is how I got good at guitar. My name is Fabian Dolan. I've had over 10 years of experience on the guitar, 10,000 hours played, and I've taught many students in the past. Hopefully, another one today. Thank you very much for watching. If you're currently stagnating with your progress at the moment and you're confused as how you're supposed to improve, book a call with me in the description. I'm going to be teaching students that are watching this channel. Also, if you want to interact with like-minded guitarists who are on the same journey on improvement as yourself, please check out the Discord. And again, you can message me on Instagram as well for any questions. But for those who want teaching, I'm going to teach one of you how to advance your playing, and I'm not going to stop until you're advanced. So if that sounds like an interesting idea for you, please check the link in the description. Practicing is very boring in the beginning, right? It's because we have to learn all these chord shapes and scale shapes. And it's quite frustrating because we have to get our fingers used to like the muscle memory and how to press down frets and stuff like that. But it gets to a point where we learn these basics, we know how to play all this stuff, but we don't really know where to go from there. How do we make this interesting? How do we make music with the ideas that we've learned, that we've practiced, and we've ingrained into our muscle memory, right? Scales and chord shapes are useless without this element that I'm going to make you aware of today, alright? This element I'm going to show you is what provides energy to music. It's what makes people listen and dance to music, right? This element allows you to make simple ideas sound amazing once you master it. And this element is rhythm. And you're probably thinking, duh, yeah, I know that I need rhythm, but no one tells us how to actually practice rhythm in order to sound musical. Right? I'm not going to tell you how to practice with a metronome. You hear the conventional advice on the internet all the time. It's just, oh, practice with a metronome. Play this idea to a metronome, right? And that's I don't do that. Personally, I don't do that. I'm good at rhythm. I have a good sense of timing. I never practice with a metronome. I'll tell you what I do. This is more entertaining, right? This is actually interesting to do. I practice to a drummer, right? Best thing you can do is practice to a drummer in person in a band. But again, we don't always have that luxury all the time. So you might want to practice to a drum track. If you go on YouTube, just type in drum beat 100 beats per minute. Practice to that. But what we're going to do is with our right hand, our strumming hand, we're going to emulate the kick and the snare. So we're going to use our hand and we're going to play the lower strings and think of them as a kick drum. Then the higher strings, the thinner ones, we're going to think of them as a snare. So if we have a basic drum beat that goes, right? Imagine this as beatboxing, but on the guitar, right? So you can go, you want to be able to do really basic drum grooves. So just Google basic drum groove, 100 beats per minute, 90 beats per minute. Just copy what the drummer is doing with your guitar. And this is the most basic part, right? We can start to add chords in. So we get sounds like... And again, that's a really basic drumming groove. But what if I made it a bit more interesting, where I go like... Right? We can kind of do these drum fills with chords. Again, it's the rhythm is what makes things sound interesting. So we can take really simple ideas, like we all know how to play these bar chord shapes, like this. And then if we add rhythm to it, we add a good sense of rhythm, we can make things sound interesting and entertaining, right? Once we get good at this and we can play along with a drummer, it's what makes our heart rate increase. It's what gets us focused in on the music. It's where all the energy comes from. And again, the reason we get bored is because we're too frustrated, and we're too bored of the ideas that we're playing on the guitar. It's not interesting enough to keep us entertained. When you're locked in with rhythm, you're always going to be entertained. It doesn't matter how long you're going for. You could be doing this for hours, right? As long as you're in the zone and you're perfectly playing on time, you're never going to get bored, right? So, once you get used to this, you're going to be playing for hours. People will also enjoy the music that you make more. Again, people are going to be able to listen to you for hours as well. If you have a perfect sense of rhythm and you can play exactly like a drummer, like... I don't know what I was doing there. I was just kind of messing around, but I was being rhythmic. Like, you can kind of freestyle on the guitar. This is what freestyling is rhythm. Again, rappers freestyle with rhythm. They're not just saying words. If they were just saying words, that would be poetry. But you want to have that element of rhythm. This is what's entertaining. This is where the energy comes from. This is what allows you to practice for hours and hours on end. It's just messing around with rhythm. So to do this, we need to emulate the drummer, right? Don't play to a metronome. This is boring. Practice to a drummer and try to emulate that drummer. Use your hand as a kick and a snare. And these are the details that guitarists never get taught. I think they're essential. You never hear anyone saying, practice to a drummer. We're always told, practice to a metronome. But this is boring. No one wants to do that. And no one wants to sound like that either. No one wants to sound robotic and mechanical. We want to sound like we have groove and feel. And you do this by playing to a drummer and trying to emulate a drummer, trying to be a drummer on the guitar. So, to recap, we need to move our right hand like a drummer. The thicker strings, we need to mimic the kick. And the thinner strings, we need to mimic the snare. So just take a really simple drum groove and just try and mimic it by playing the kick and the snare with the guitar. We put everything together, we can start grooving. You get good at this, you become your own drummer, you can make your own grooves. And you'll find ones that you go to more, like you kind of develop your own strumming patterns and styles, depending on the energy that you want to bring across in your music. And if you can't do this yet, just Google drum tracks. Type in 100 beats per minute drum groove on YouTube, or like 90 beats per minute. If it's too fast, go slower. But just work on practicing with that, okay? Just practice the kick and the snare. We need to get good at that, and then you can implement that into your playing. Eventually it gets to the point where you get good at that, and you can add like melody in between those rhythmic spaces. So if I have like a groove like this, that kind of idea. You can lay a rhythm down and you can find the pockets in between in which you're supposed to be playing chords and you're supposed to be playing melodies. So this is what makes you sound like a full-blown musician that has every element together. You have melody, you have harmony, you have rhythm. You've mastered all of these. You can incorporate them all into the guitar and make complete sounding music. This has been how I got good at guitar. If you're still confused after this lesson, book a call with me, check the link in the description. And again, respect for making it to the end. You're in the top 1% if you made it this far. And subscribe for more high quality guides. Also, check out the Discord, check out Instagram. And thank you very much for all the kind words. I really appreciate it. Take care.